Guys, what's going on? Hello and welcome to Serial at Midnight. Let's talk about one of the great 80s cop shows. Hunter, the complete series, is now on DVD from VEI. Now, I grew up with this show. This show has been on DVD before, but all that stuff is out of print, and as it stands now, this brand new box set, this has just been released from VEI, is the only way that you can get the complete Hunter. I did not have any Hunter in my collection, so I sprang for this like you would not believe. I pre-ordered it. Here's the exciting part of it, is that it is $39.99. Well, as I'm recording this video, it's brand new. It's only been out for like 2 weeks. And it is $39.99 with free shipping on the VEI website, which I'll link to in the description of this video. But we'll talk about the specs, the discs, all that stuff in a minute. I'm going to talk a little bit about Hunter. This is one of the great, it's a quintessential cop show from the 80s, from the era when cop shows, it's the heyday of the cop show, right? This is the era of all the cliches that we think about for cops and cop shows, like, you're a loose cannon, you know, the angry chief and the guy that's always breaking the rules. You're like, you can't go out there and get confessions from these people by dangling them over a window. What are you doing? You're going to be suspended without pay, Hunter. And then, whatever you say, Sarge. He's clearly, it's Fred Dryer. So Fred Dryer was a former football player turned actor, and Stephanie Kramer's his partner. He's the take no prisoners, do it his own way cop who's always breaking the rules, and she is the beautiful, tactful partner. And it's not based on sexual chemistry. It's based on kind of like an opposites attract kind of a thing, which is a really interesting dynamic. But he is basically, as I'm watching this, see, I grew up with this show. I'm an 80s kid. This was always on once a week. This was appointment TV for my dad. And so I've seen a lot of Hunter. And it was, he's Dirty Harry. Like, I'm looking at it now with adult eyes and everything that I know now, and I'm like, this is straight up Clint Eastwood Dirty Harry. Even in the pilot, he's got this massive gun and he points it. They shoot him low angles and he's like pointing his gun down. He's like, go ahead, punk. You got how many bullets? It's like the whole thing from Dirty Harry. I'm like, if you're gonna steal from the best, right? But great show. Not necessarily, you know, we're spoiled by great TV now. So it's not like it's full of twists and turns or anything like that, but just a great cop procedural show with all those 80s cliches. Tons of car stunts. Usually they work in every single episode, they work in a car chase with a ramp where the car goes over a ramp, usually over a fence, and then comes down and crashes. Oh man, I just watched an episode with Sam J. Jones, Flash Gordon, I won't say who he is in the episode. It's kind of surprising for people that know Sam Jones, especially now in his converted Christian life. But he's a real interesting character in this episode, and he's in a car chase in this car. It's in a junkyard, and the car runs into a forklift. So the forklift goes through the windshield. Huge explosion. 80s cop show. This is the stuff that I was raised on. This is you think like a RoboCop on TV every single week. RoboCop did have a TV show. We're going to talk about that soon. So now the series is on DVD in a complete series package. $40, great deal. I'll hold this up for you if you want to take a gander at it. Freeze frame it so you can read the description. There's no real special features here to speak of, though it's all 7 seasons and the movie. There was sort of a reunion movie, The Return of Hunter. That's here as well. But I want to say, when I was talking about this on social media, people were asking me, like, does it look any better than what's on YouTube? Because most of these episodes, I think actually all of these episodes are on YouTube. What's on YouTube is 360p. I don't think you can get it higher than that, but do your own independent research. And of course, these are 480p, so that's 120 extra p. It does not look great, and it never will look great. These come from the Stephen J. Cannell archives. These are not owned by a massive studio. These are owned by the Stephen J. Cannell Productions estate, his company. So all these great Stephen J. Cannell shows have probably been sitting in the quote vault for 30 years or more. There has been no restoration work done to these as far as I can tell. The masters here look like they're probably tape sourced from videotape. It's so interesting when we talk about stuff like this, because I will help announce something. Somebody will announce something and I'll spread the word about, hey guys, this is coming out. And invariably, no matter how old it is, no matter where it comes from, it can be like, hey guys, Three's Company is on blah, blah, blah. And they're like 4K or nothing. Like, wait, Three's Company on 4K? Like, it was shot on videotape and it was edited on videotape and there's no source material for that. 4K or nothing, I said. Like, there's no materials probably to make this. And you could probably go back to the original Hunter elements and scan in all those 35 millimeter shots at many thousands of dollars. But guess what? No one is going to do that, because it would be a huge loss in profits, because it would cost seven seasons of a TV show to be restored from the 35 millimeter negatives would be so expensive. And Hunter is not, it's a niche show. This is not going to sell hundreds of thousands of units. So that's just not a reality. So for those of us that love these shows, this is probably the last stop for Hunter, or one of the last stops. I suspect this is probably, at this stage in the game, this is probably it for Hunter. So I'm glad to have it. It doesn't look great, but it looks good enough. I watched this show, I come from the tube TV days, right? I'm, again, 80s kid. I would have to get up and check, try to tune in the channel to make sure it came in clearly. So for me, looks good. It looks better than it looked on TV when I was a kid. But here's what we're dealing with. VEI uses my least favorite packaging of all time. You open it up and you have a deep chasm, and they have included these CD wallets like you would get, like from the 90s, see? And this is my least favorite packaging because now, here's my statement on these. I believe that these promote disc rot. Or if they don't promote it, they're associated with disc rot. Because more often than not, when people talk to me about disc rot, they've been storing their discs in containers like these. And I think part of the problem is that all of these are not created equally. You have some that use really good plastic. You have some that use really bad plastic. And this erodes over time. So the first thing that I did when I got this is I put all of them in paper sleeves, because I have no problem with paper sleeves. And, Mill Creek used paper sleeves for years and years. They don't anymore, I don't think. But I've never had a problem with playback errors or anything like that. I believe these are better than these. But that's just me. I just wanted you guys to know. So we're dealing with 5 to 6 episodes per disc. Now that sounds like a lot, because that is a lot. Ideally, we'd want 4 episodes on a disc. But this is a budget set, right? It's $40 out the door for 7 seasons. Break that down. That is super cheap. So corners have been cut to make this as affordable as possible, both for us and for the company. So 5 to 6 episodes per disc. But I've got to say, here's the thing. They're double layer discs, first of all. So you're getting upwards of, 8 gigabytes of data on each disc. They have used double layer discs. I checked them on my computer. That's how you can always tell. Check them on your computer. And they look pretty good. Because there's been no remastering here, I guess they're able to fit a little bit more on there. I see none of the telltale signs of compression. There's no artifacting. There's no pixelization. There's no, a lot of times when you see, people will ask, well, how can you tell? If something's been overly compressed, you start to see little blocks, little blocks. Water is always, if you ever have a water scene, that's the best way to tell if something's been overly compressed, because there's the water, lots and lots of just tiny squares, pixelization, right? Like an old 8-bit Nintendo game. I don't see any of that here. It looks fine. So these must be relatively smaller file sizes, or maybe it's just the lower resolution because of the source material. But I'm happy. I have zero complaints about this, other than the packaging, other than using my least favorite packaging, which is CD wallets. But you know what? I know a lot of you guys, as soon as you get a new Blu-ray, you take it out of that case, you throw the case away, and you put it in a CD wallet. So that's just me. I'm only speaking for myself. The last disc does contain the final 7, the 7th season, and the movie, The Return of Hunter. Now, keen-eyed Hunter fans will know that this series did go on. There was one more Hunter movie, I think, and there was a revival series that lasted 5 episodes. That is not here. Would be cool if it was, but it is not. This is the Prime series that ran from 1984 to 1991. All the guest stars. Here's got young George Clooney there. Lots of great people. They even listed. Here we got Eric Estrada, George Clooney, Eric Estrada, Jesse Ventura. I ain't got time to bleed. Dennis Franz, Brian Dennehy, Ed O'Neill, Bruce Davidson, Garrett Morris. Baseball have been very, very good to me. Jerry Orbach, Lauren Lane, Isaac Hayes. Oh, Isaac Hayes, you guys. Truck Turner's up in here. Robert Vaughn, Sam
Sammy Davis Jr., who can take a rainbow, shoot it in the head.
Because Hunter, because he's the renegade cop. And hundreds more. Okay, so I've said about all there is to say about Hunter, but it's a great 80s cop show. All my 80s kids out there, Hunter, the complete series on DVD for $40, man. Even more exciting news, VEI just announced Renegade, the Lorenzo Lamas syndicated series from the 90s. Renegade is coming to DVD at the end of the month. Of course, that's been on DVD before as well. At one point, Stephen J. Cannell was licensing his catalog to Mill Creek Entertainment, and all that stuff has been it's been out of print for years. So this is the new Stephen J. Cannell license with VEI. Visual Entertainment, is it Incorporated? Visual Entertainment Inc. VEI.TV. And Renegade is also $40. It's 5 seasons, so it's not as great of a value as 7 seasons, but Renegade the complete series, $40, free shipping, VEI. Now you know, the more you know, Shooting Star. Shoot the shooting star, because we're Hunter. We don't take that crap. Get that star out of the sky. All right, that's going to do it for this episode talking about Hunter. You guys remember this show? What do you think about it? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much. Take care. Until next time, I will catch you later.